Hey everybody, buenas tardes. Happy Sunday, happy last day of the month of March, my special month, my birthday month, my 50th birthday month, the month that I essentially celebrated my birthday every day this entire month. Hi Elise, hi Felicia. Felicia, I was going to give you a shout out today. Please stay till the end, okay? Hi Mom. Happy Mother's Day. My mom is in the building. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms on the flip side of the world. Hi, Miss Garza. Thank you so much for yesterday. Thank you all so much. Hi, Kennedy. Thank you so much. The one lone soldier that was in the building yesterday. Hi, Kennedy. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm not going to be as animated today because our topic is kind of strange, right? If you guys read it, you know that the topic is 5 people, 5 deaths. What's it called? 5 people, 5 deaths, 4 suicide, 1 murder. So it's a crazy topic, but somebody's got to talk about it. So buenas tardes. My name is Dr. Lulu. I'm national keynote speaker. You know, this thing always does this. Hold on. Let's try this if we can fix it today. Is that better? No? Okay. I think that's better. I'm really close up, but that's better. So, yeah, we're going to talk about 5 people, 5 deaths, 4 suicides, and 1 murder. That's the topic of today's Facebook Live. So I'm going to stand. If you're just joining me for the first time, my name is Dr. Lulu. I'm a national keynote speaker. I'm a best-selling author of How Not to Raise Bad Kids. I'm just going to say it. How Not to Raise Bad Kids. If you haven't gotten your copy yet, Tiffany, your mom got a copy yesterday. Tell her I said thank you. Big ups to her. And we have a bunch of people in the building, so we're going to get started. If you have a friend who is a parent, if you're a parent, if your sibling is a parent, if you know a parent, if you're going to be a parent, you want to watch today's episode. If you're a teacher, a counselor, a friend, a neighbor, a pastor, you want to watch today's episode. So take 2 seconds. I'm going to call out your names. Take 2 seconds and invite a friend. We've got Linda Beckham in the building, Kashmir. Hey, Cash. Eleanor Gray, Eneri Creticio Garza, Miss Garza, Felicia Arrington, my mom, Elise Kennedy, Sally Pedraza, and Tiffany Kane. I've called you guys out. Take a moment and invite your friends who are parents. Y'all want to watch today's episode. So we're going to jump into it. So I've said my happy Mother's Day, so I'm done being nice. That's it. That was the only nice thing I'm going to say today is happy Mother's Day to my mother and to all the moms on the flip side of the pond because you guys are celebrating your Mother's Day today. We're going to jump right into it. Miss Ellis, I know you're watching me. Girl, please help me write down a couple of numbers. If you've been watching my episodes, you know that I usually talk about numbers, and I always want someone to write my numbers down. So Miss Ellis, you're my Asta to Lulu. I'm going to have to ask my mom or Felicia to write on my regular page. And I think Tina Live is on my cell phone. I'm not sure. But Tiffany, if you're on Tina Live, please take numbers down for me. So first number is that suicides have increased, period, overall in the U.S. So somebody please write that down. In the last 40 years, in the last 4 decades, suicides have increased in the U.S. of A. Globally, the only reason suicides have come down is because suicides in China have come down. So China in the 90s was the number 1 country of suicide. Actually, every suicide, I think China had 30%. So 1 in 3 suicides in the world took place in China in the 90s. And then they got woke, they got lit. Something happened and they kind of got with the program and knew that suicide was not a way to go. So suicide is now coming down globally because suicides in China are coming down. But suicides in the US are going up. So I know Ellis has got it on my Ask Dr. Lulu page. Please, somebody on Tina Live, Tiffany, if you're watching me, please write it down. Vanessa, welcome. Please write it down. Somebody on my regular page, please take it down. Suicides have gone up in the US of A and are coming down overall in the world globally. And then, and that's in the last 40 years. Yeah, and in the 90s, 1 out of every 3 suicides was a Chinese individual, but not anymore. The Chinese people have woken up. The rest of us, not so much. Suicide is the #1 cause of death in adolescents. Adolescents, if you have a smart 11-year-old, they're probably an adolescent too, but generally the age is 13 through 21 is adolescents. So suicide is #1 cause of death in adolescents worldwide. Someone please write that down for me. Suicide is #2 cause of death for people aged 10 to 34 in the US of A, and suicide is only second to accidents. So technically, if you take out accidental death, suicide is #1 cause of death of all peoples aged 10 through 34 in the US of A. Suicides have gone up by 50% in girls and women between 2000 and 2016. Suicides have gone up by 50%. Can somebody please write this down? I cannot write as I talk. Anybody? My mom is taking notes in my page. Thank you, Mom. Suicides have gone up by 50% in girls and women between 2000 and 2016. Suicides have gone up by 21% in boys and men between 2000 and 2016. Now, as you all know, every 40 seconds, somebody takes their life. Every 40 seconds, somebody dies by suicide. And I'm going to pose that question that I always pose. If you knew that there was an epidemic out there that was killing people every 40 seconds, what would you do? Everyone who's watching me, write down what you would do if you knew that there was an epidemic that was killing people every 40 seconds and you were aware of it. What would you be doing? If you're watching me, please take a moment to respond. I know I'm going to be looking for the way out. That's what I'm going to do. Or I'm going to do what I'm doing now, which is talk about it and tell people about it and spread awareness. I think it gets worse. I didn't think it was going to get worse than that. Well, I think I knew it was going to. No, you know what? Strike that. I knew it was going to be worse than that because almost all the suicides, not almost all the suicides that are being, of all the suicides that are being recorded, majority of the suicides in the third world countries are not being recorded. A lot of the suicides in America are not being recorded. So of all the suicides, as much as the suicide rate is, majority of those suicides that are happening elsewhere are not being recorded, i.e. Nigeria, for instance. Lesotho is being recorded because Lesotho is #3 in the world for suicides at 28 people per 100,000. Not good. Right now, a town in India called Puducherry has the highest rate of suicides in the world. This town called Puducherry is a quaint tourist center. Believe it or not, it has over 100,000 people coming for tourism every year. Yet, it is the little town with the big secret. It has the highest rate of suicides in the world at 44 people per 100,000. Not good. However, of all those numbers I've said to you, if you scrap all of those numbers, here's what's going to kill you. By the year 2020, the WHO has predicted that suicides are going to happen at the rate of 1 every 20 seconds. Someone please take the numbers down. By the year 2020, if we keep going at this rate, there's going to be 1 suicide every 20 seconds, as per WHO, the authority in things like this. So with that as a background, if you're just joining me for the first time, we're going to talk about 5 people, 5 deaths, 4 suicides, 1 murder. That's the topic for today. So please invite your friends and let's get started. So the preamble was just to give you all those numbers, remembering that those numbers are only the recorded numbers. They are not, you know what, I'm just going to stand. They are not the numbers for those who really are killing themselves by suicide, because majority of them are not recorded, okay? We're going to talk about Calvin Desir. I want to say Desir as in Spanish or Desir as in French. No estoy segura. I'm not sure. Pero Mr. Calvin Desir, he's 16 years old, was 16 years old. We're going to talk about Miss Sydney Aiello. She was 19. We're going to talk about Mr. Jeremy Richman. He was 49. We're going to talk about Kevin Reese. He was 10. And we're going to talk about Ranaya Wright. She was 10. All right. So let's go. As you guys have heard, if you've been following my page, you know that this past week, I just had all sorts of posts about people just dying of suicide. Okay. And it's not me. I'm just a vessel. My mom even tagged me and another lady in the group that she follows. I didn't follow that up because I didn't have a chance yesterday to reach out to her for obvious reasons. I had my event, but it's everywhere. So Mr. Calvin Desir happens to be, he was a survivor of the Parkland shooting, which turned a year very recently. So Mr. Desir was a survivor of the Parkland shooting, 16 years old. I'm going to read the words that his family members used to describe him. He was one of a kind, is what they said. He was very soft-spoken, is what they said. He would never hurt a fly, is what they said. He was selfless and quick to action to help others. So what I'm going to say now is the good people that are dying. Mr. Calvin survived the shooting that killed 17 people in his school and injured 17 others in his school about a year ago in Parkland. He survived that incident, and the police was called to his house for a shooting this past week. And when they got there, he had sustained fatal wounds, self-inflicted fatal wounds. So should we really call him a survivor after all? Because what happens is you do live with the demons. You do live with the demons, and some of us can survive those demons and some of us cannot. And unfortunately, he couldn't. So if you're watching me, please somebody write down Calvin Desir for me. Number one, he was 16 years old. Rest in peace. Thank you. The second person, Miss Sydney Aiello. She was described as a lover of yoga. Her school teachers said she was always smiling. She was talkative like me. She was nice, and she would always say hello in the hallway to everyone. She lost her close friend in the Parkland shooting. She was diagnosed with PTSD not too long before she took her life. It doesn't really say, or I didn't see how it happened. So I'm just going to assume that maybe she hung herself. I don't know. I'm just going to leave that. But that's essentially what the news have. Miss Sydney Aiello, a beautiful child. Rest in peace. Someone please write down Sydney Aiello for me. Next person is Mr. Jeremy Richman. Jeremy Richman's daughter, her name was Avielle, was killed at the Sandy Hook shooting 5 years ago, an elementary school where a random guy just went into the school and just opened fire and just kept killing and killing and killing children. He, quote unquote, survived it for about 5 years. Actually, he started a foundation that was kind of spreading awareness and raising funds for nonviolence. And it was just crazy, you know. They are not mentioning the mode of death either, but it happened in the building where he had the foundation that was in memory of his daughter to raise awareness for these things that are happening, shooting, violence. He was a neuroscientist. Very sad. So someone please write Jeremy Richman for me. Rest in peace. And then there is Kevin Reese. Kevin Reese, 10 years old, died on the 21st of January in Katy, up the road from me. Katy is on the way to Houston. And one of the facts in his story is, in the past 1 year, someone please write this down for me. In the past 1 year, there have been 26 deaths from suicide in the Houston area in children. So let's think about that for a moment. So in the Houston or the greater Houston area, in the past 1 year, there have been 26 deaths. 26 deaths means about 2 every month, plus 2 at the end of the year. Just the Houston area. How many of you watching me heard about any suicides in the Houston area in the past 1 year? If you did, please let me know. Oh, my mom said I would urgently look for a solution. Thank you. Just let me know if you heard about any suicides of children in the greater Houston area in the past 1 year. I know I didn't. And I've been doing this work for 6 months. And I did not know about it until Kevin Reese's suicide. So let me tell you guys what's going to blow your mind. Kevin Reese's newsreel read, "Relentless bullying was the reason." Relentless bullying. So not just bullying, which is what I talk about all the time. This was relentless bullying. In other words, they would not stop. What is the definition of bullying? Bullying is, it takes, number one, intent to hurt somebody's feeling or hurt somebody physically or hurt somebody with words. There's intention. There's one or more bullies, and it is repeated. Someone please write that down for me. Intent. In other words, you know you're going to do it, you want to do it, and you will do it. One, intent. Number two, it's one person that is a bully or multiple people are bullies. Someone please write that down for me. Number three, it is repeatedly done. Repetitive. This is my problem. If you tell me one day you're crazy, that's okay. You got away with it. Maybe because you're not. But let's just say you got away with it. In the case of bullying, is every day you see me, you call me stupid. Every day you see me, you pull my hair. Every day you see me, you say something mean to me. That's bullying. It's repeatedly. This little boy, Mr. Kevin Reese, his newsreel said, "Relentless bullying." If you're just joining me for the first time, aka Miss Sally Pedraza, Aunt Anne, Hodon Mohammed, B. Mitchell, Jude Achu, Veronica Garris, Maduem Adonkia. If you're just joining me, we're talking about 5 people, 5 deaths, 4 suicides, and 1 murder. So far, we've been talking about suicides. It's Calvin Desir, Sydney Aiello, Jeremy Richmond, Kevin Reese. Kevin Reese had a case of relentless bullying, is what the newsreel said. Guess what the school said? You guessed it. We had no idea. The mother had taken the case to school and complained about it, just FYI. And yet, when it happened, the school said, "No sabemos." We had no idea. We did not know. You see why I say parents should fight back? And so if you're watching me, please write my brand new hashtag. My hashtag is Parents Fight Back. Anyone who's watching me, please write the hashtag Parents Fight Back. That is my new hashtag. One of the 2 anyway. The second one is coming up. The mother had gone to the school and complained. Yet when everything went down, the school said, "We had no idea." The same school said, "We had no idea." The child was described as goofy from Mr. Kevin Reese. He did not fight back when he was pounded and punched by a kid after recess. Came home crying. Several times he was punched by a kid at recess. He did not fight back because his mother probably told him, say, Kevin, don't fight back. Let me tell you guys something. If Kevin were my son, we'll have 2 kids that are going to be suspended. One of them will be the kid that's bullying my son, and one of them will be Kevin, because my Kevin will fight back. Gone are the days when you say, oh, little Pookie, don't fight back. Let me tell you something. We both go down together, but we're going down together. We are going down together. The school is only one of the 5 facets it takes to protect your child. 1 out of 5 is only 20%. You make up the other 4. As a parent, you make up the other 4, the 80% it takes to protect your child, i.e. at home, i.e. at home, i.e. at home. One more i.e. for good measure, at home. You are 80%. The school is only 20%. So please don't tell me the schools are not protected. I love you, sister girlfriend, Ms. Hodan Mohammed, but I bet to disagree. The schools are 20%. Everything must begin at home. There's a little boy that I posted his video on my page recently. The little boy said, if you give me a black eye, there are going to be 2 people with a black eye. That's what he said. Let me tell you what I said last week. When a child walks up to you for the first time and pushes you, he's testing the waters. She's testing the waters. She's trying to see, let me see if this is a good victim candidate that first time. Now, I understand if there are 20 people, you're outnumbered. But you know, and I know it's in the movies, but a lot of times you see those guys, 1 against 20, i.e. Keanu Reeves, my man, he's going to try to take out as many as he can on his way down. Yes, there might be 20 kids, but you just try to take one of them down. The other 19 might be learning a lesson. At this point, I don't know. Miss Hodan Mohammed says bullying starts early. I took boy out of preschool. She took her son out of preschool. Yes. Bless your heart. You have to do what you have to do, sweetie. Do not expect anyone else to do it. Thank you. You take your kid out of preschool if that's what it's going to take. Get another school. You know what? Put them on blast. Put that school on blast. It has to stop someday. But for now, my first hashtag is parents fight back. Fight back with your words. Fight back with empowering your kids, teaching them resilience, teaching them to be assertive. Start by fighting back. You start by fighting back. And then the kids I'll give you the kids hashtag in a minute. But parents, start by fighting back. Push back as much as you can. From now on, no more. We're not going to sit back and watch our kids relentlessly getting bullied. Are you freaking kidding me? What do you mean by relentless bullying? I don't think so. Maybe the first time. The second time, we're going to talk about it. And that happened to my son. The first time I heard about it, the mother heard about it, the school heard about it. I went there, I rolled up in there, and yes, I acted a black woman, took off my earrings, gave them to my cousin, Boniqua. That's what happened. Let them say his mama is crazy. But what my child ain't gonna do is kill themselves because of relentless bullying. I rolled up to that mama's house. You can ask my cousin. He will tell you. We went together because I was like, there's power in numbers. We rolled up and knocked on the door. Let's talk about this mother to mother. Your child thinks he's crazy. Tell him I said I'm crazier. And that's what we did in my son's case. You do what you want to do, but I'm saying parents fight back. Fight back already. The next kid that completes suicide might be your kid. That's a problem right there. This little boy did not fight back. I don't know what happened, whether he was told not to fight back. And that's okay. I'm not really saying violence, but let me tell you something though. When that first kid tried to bully me, that's the last time they're going to try to bully me. Either I'm going to tell them or I'm going to beat them up. I'm going to get suspended, fine, but I'm not going to be completing suicide. That's just me. There are many, many ways to kill a fish. That's my way. The other one, burying your child, is not a way. The school told the mother that they never found any evidence of bullying in a child that was, they wrote on his iPad, go kill yourself. So people knew these things. People knew these things, and yet the school said they found no evidence of bullying. And you're telling me that you should let's talk about the next kid, because that one is even worse. Her name is Miss Ranaya Wright, and I actually got in touch with her mother. Miss Ranaya Wright is 10 years old, 5th grader. This just happened a couple of days ago on the 27th of March. The child was in a fight at school with another 11-year-old. My question is, what happened in that fight that left her in a coma? She was taken to the school nurse in a coma. In the school, there's no way the child can be taken to the school nurse in a coma and nobody saw anything. And yet, the news reels coming out of Charleston, South Carolina, is that no one saw anything. It's too early to say that it's bullying, yet the child's parents' words, the school must change their attitude towards bullying. But the news you're hearing on the outside is that there was no evidence of bullying. Oh, wait, the 11-year-old was suspended. She was suspended. The 11-year-old who was in the fight. What I want to know is, what happened during that fight? How come we know about the fight? How come the child was taken to the school nurse? Who took her to the school nurse? The flies, the angels? How did she get to the school nurse? People know stuff, yet nobody wants to talk. I have a problem with that. That's why I said parents fight back. Now, it gets worse. 2 days before that, she was celebrating her baby brother's birthday. She was described as a wonderful student, caring big sister. In fact, what's killing me is that there were no adult witnesses. In a school where a child is being beaten up to the point that the child is in a coma by another 11-year-old, what did that 11-year-old do? What did that 11-year-old get taught at home? Who is that child's mother? Who is that child's father? The child's neighbors, the child's relatives, the entire village around that 11-year-old that beat up another 10-year-old, that the 10-year-old died. That's a murder. And yet the news is like, oh, it's too early to know if we're going to file charges. I don't know who this 11-year-old is, but I have my own theories. I'm going to wait before I release my theories. But this is my second hashtag. If you're watching me, please write my second hashtag for me. My second hashtag is kids take a stand against bullying, or kids speak up against bullying. If you're watching me, please write down kids take a stand or kids speak up. Hashtag kids take a stand. Hashtag kids speak up against bullying. It's my second hashtag for the day. And so the last bit of this talk, if you're just joining me for the first time, we're talking about 5 people, 5 deaths, 4 suicides, and 1 murder. Yes, I said it. The 4 suicides, we talked about them. The 1 murder, we talked about it. If you're just joining me, just press rewind and watch it when I'm done. So we're going to talk about the 4 reasons why suicide is becoming so prevalent in these days. 4 reasons in my book, and none of them is mental health. My 4 top reasons, none of them is mental health. Number 1, family. Y'all families, y'all are letting the kids down. Y'all are not raising your kids right, and y'all are not being great advocates for your own kids. So I'm begging you, beginning today, in the name of Jah Jehovah, know what your kids know. Talk to your kids. Raise your kids better. Buy my book. Learn what you need to do, what you need to say, what you do not need to say. Today is the last day my book is going to be on sale for $7.99. It's going back to its regular price of $14.99 because I put me some nuggets all up in this book. And if you're cheap, well, that's too bad. But it's available on my website, tinalive.com, and on Amazon. Get your copy and write me a good review. Thank you. But I'm done trying to be nice with these people that are raising these kids that are killing our kids. I don't know what else to say. But a boy that has had a case of relentless bullying is a problem. Like, how do you have relentless bullying and yet nobody knows? Somebody wrote on his iPad, "Go kill yourself," and yet nobody knows. So who saw the writing on the iPad? What is going on? And of course, he's a black boy. And she's a black girl. What's going on? A lot of respect for all the white people. I'm not saying that white people are not, completing suicide. 2 out of my 5 people today were white. What I'm saying is, as far as this one goes, because I know black folk, y'all, we have our issues that we deal with. We don't want to add any more drama to it. We don't want, we're already tagged as it is. But y'all got to tell y'all kids some different narratives. Tell them to point out the kids that are bullying them. You can take it up with the school. You can take it up with their parents. You can demand change in the school, like little Miss Renaya Wright's parents are demanding for change in the school. There's no way they can say there are no adult witnesses to an event an occurrence that involved a child beating up another child to the point that child was in a coma and died a day or 2 later. What did they do to her? Are we even sure it was one person? So far, they say one person was suspended. Are we even sure it was one person that did this? I'm really, really concerned about what's going on in America today. And if you watched the beginning, you know what I said about the numbers in America. I wonder why. Second commonest cause. By the way, under the family problems, we have also society, because that's the greater village that it takes to raise the child. And that's where the school shootings come in. And that's where the Sydney and Calvin come in. So divorce, abuse, mental health in the family, decreased support in the family, socioeconomic problems that you can't really help, like poverty and, drugs and guns being present in the home. That's all into the family one. The second of the top 4 reasons why there's suicide going around everywhere is bullying. Enter Kevin Reese and, of course, Renaya Wright. Bullying. Both 10-year-old kids. If the child's mother says that the school should change their attitude about bullying, there was bullying involved in my book, even though the school is not saying yet that we're not sure if it's bullying, because it's a death. That's not a suicide. That's why they are suddenly not sure it's a bullying. The truth will come out. It will. The third out of the 4 reasons is peer pressure. You guys just have to believe it. Your kids want to be like all the other kids. They want to drink like all the other kids. They want to be rude like all the other kids. They want to do drugs while the other kids are doing drugs. They want to be like other kids, period. Good or bad. Usually it's not good when we're talking about peer pressure, right? It's hardly ever good. So please, people, find out from your kids if anybody's bullying them. Ask them if they feel unsafe in school. Ask them if there's any reason why they're concerned about going to school on certain days. Ask them about other kids that are being bullied. Maybe not them, maybe they're a bystander. As we know, 70% of people are bystanders. Ask them if they are the bullies themselves. Because if your child says no to all the questions, maybe he or she is the bully. These kids are being bullied by people's children, like I always say. The last thing is social media. The 4th reason is social media. Social media has gone nuclear. It has. If a man can come onto a YouTube video and tell a child, remember kids, this way for attention, this way for the results, that's just so bad on so many levels. whether Momo or no Momo. Social media, the screen is killing our kids. We have to accept it. So please, I implore you, parents, 80% of the work is yours. You may not be as dramatic as me, but you need to be all up in your kids' business. At school, at home, on the playground, on the bus. When they're waiting for the bus, be all up in their business. Please. This is beyond me. There's nothing happy about my talk today. I'm sorry. Keep sending me the news clips. I don't mind. As a matter of fact, when I was preparing for my talk that took place on Friday, I finally broke down and cried about one of the kids that I was going to talk about, because I found a picture of him with his wings. They had put wings on him. My little guy called 7, a little 10-year-old with a colostomy tube from a few weeks ago that we talked about. It was so sad. I started crying. I couldn't take it. Thank God for that. Thank God I still have emotions. I need to hold on to my emotions. So we talked about 5 people, 5 deaths, 4 suicides, and 1 murder. We talked about the top 4 reasons why suicide is so prevalent. Of course, there are others. I said top 4. None of those was depression. None of those was mental illness. Not in children. I'm not talking about adults. I'm talking about children. There are many other causes. From my 6 months of doing this, it's not a long time, but it's long enough. I found that bullying is number 1. Well, actually family and then bullying, that kind of. Get my book. Okay. Now, if you have any questions, let me have them. I'm at kind of close to the end now. Okay. And then just real quick, just a quick recap of my last week, and then just the next month that we're going to be going into, since today is the last day of the month. For the month of April, I'm going to do a couple of Facebook Lives at a couple of businesses in town. So if you have a business in town and you're watching me, if you know anyone who has a business in town and they're not watching me, please tag them. I would like to do a Facebook Live with them and try to put their business out there. I've gotten a lot of people tell me that they would like that, so I'm going to do that. If you have any friend who has a business, please let me know. I'll be glad to find them and hopefully get in touch with them, and we can feature them on a Facebook Live, as long as it has something to do with teens or wellness or health or something like that. Not a random, maybe a lady who has a business, sewing clothes. That may not really work out, but I'll be glad to do it. It's not a lot of money either, because I'm putting you on blast. So have them contact me and we'll talk about that semi-free advertisement for them, okay? However, on Friday, I did my first CE, which is continuing education talk, and I got a standing ovation. And of course, you guessed it, the topic was child and teen suicide. And, there was no dry eye in the room, but I'm thankful it was beamed nationally. I had questions from Wisconsin, questions from Chicago. It was awesome. Yesterday, we had my phenomenal event. If you're watching me and you were at the event yesterday, give me a hell yeah. It was awesome. We had 34 people sign in for a first event. That was not too bad. I'm very thankful to God. I asked the universe for 100 people. I got 34. If you didn't come, you have a second chance. I'm going to do another event last quarter of this month, the same parenting your teen. But before that, this summer, I'm toying with the idea of a kids camp. You guessed it, it's going to be about speaking up against bullying. The name I'm looking at right now is Speaking Against Bullying Camp, SABC or something like that. I don't know. We're going to come up with something fancy for the kids, so stay tuned on that. Okay? I'm going to be at Hector Garcia Middle School on the 8th of April. If you live in San Antonio, do join me. I go live at 6:30, and we're going to be talking about bullying to the parents, what every parent should know, and yes, there'll be pictures. And then for the month of April, I have great news. I'm the featured doctor on this site called Mind, Body, and Marriage. So I'm going to put the link tomorrow, April 1st. No, it's not. It's not an April Fool's thing, but I'm excited. It's hard to muster up too much excitement because of the topic of today, but I am excited that I'm the featured doctor on their little website. So I'm going to put that on so you guys can go check it out, find out what they're about. They're called Mind, Body, Marriage. You can check it out now. I think I'm already up there, but it starts tomorrow. But today's the first day of the week, so she posted it. But yes, I am the doctor for the month of April. Give me a high five, give me some thumbs up, give me some love. It's amazing. And then on April 27th, I'm going to be a guest speaker for QIMP, Quitting in My Purpose. Is an event that's going to take place here in San Antonio, Texas. If you're watching me and you live in San Antonio, you don't want to miss it. The topic is mask off. We're going to be talking about removing your mask and keeping it real. So it doesn't get any better than that. I'll put that on. It's already on my page, but I'll put it again just to remind you guys. And then last but not least, I'll be in Charlotte in May. I'm still trying to finalize getting a location. Stephanie, you owe me a location. You said we're going to get together. I need to hear back from you. I'm going to be in DC in June, and I'll be talking on the same stage as none other than Chimamanda Adichie. If you don't know her, look her up. That's your loss, because I'm going to be in the building in DC. I'm going to be in Dallas in July, 2nd or 3rd week of July. We're going to do my Parenting Your Teen event in Dallas. We don't have a date yet for Houston, but we have a location already for Houston. So it's looking really, really good. And last but not least, the summer camp is in the works. I'm excited about that. My mom gave me 2 high fives. Thank you. So that's all I have. I'm going to take a minute to say a big, quick, ginormous thank you to everyone. Miss Ellis, Mr. Kennedy, Sally Pedraza, Jeanette Creighton Anthony, Rena Ramesh, Stephanie Twitty, Linda Mickle, Dorothy, hi girl, Yemi C, good, Lacolia Beckham Brantley, some more Stephanie, Mata John, Rebecca Echakara, Bosse Olufunlola Morakinya, that's my classmate, I think, yes. Rachel Winfield, Mweke Nene, thank you for joining me. You guys did good. Miss Anne Ibekwe, my cousin, my aunt rather, Hodan Mohammed, B. Mitchell, Jude Achu, Barbara Anguiano. Hi girl. Nice to see you. Veronica Garris, Madwem Adonke. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Eleanor Gray, Kashmir Ebubedike. Hi Cash. Linda Beckham, Marion Miles, Miss Kritisha Gaza, Felicia Arrington, Miss Jocelyn Thompson, Stephanie Tweedy, some more Stephanie, Spunky Sylvia, Tiffany Kane, Vanessa Garza. Thank you all so much for joining me. If you were at my event yesterday, please take 1 minute to write me a testimonial, because it was the bomb, and tag me on Facebook and on all your social media platforms. And I'll just keep you guys informed about what's happening. And once the real pictures and the videos are ready, y'all will be the first to know. So I have to bow out now because I have a date with some of my friends and I got to go. Thank you so much for listening to me. It was awesome as always. High five, everyone. Enjoy the month of April. Don't get fooled tomorrow. I won't be held responsible. Bye. Oh, goodness. I can get it to end. Yes.